Good evening, RJC. It's an honor to be here surrounded by Jewish Republicans from all over the country. Your attendance at the RJC is proof that you are already supporting the good fight, and I encourage you to keep it up. Now, I do want to tell you that we appreciate the leadership of Senator Norm Coleman and Matt Brooks. You know, we're here to celebrate not only a common heritage, but also a common ideology. About a year ago, in September of 2024, when I stood before you, I remarked that I was one of 2 Jewish Republicans in the House. Well, this year I stand before you as one of 4 Jewish Republicans in the House. Thanks to the elections of Craig Goldman and Randy Fine. And Randy, I think, is here. Randy, if you'd stand up. Where's Randy? You're going to hear from Randy tomorrow. And ladies and gentlemen, with your help in a couple of years, I hope to be standing here again with 6 or 8 or even 10 Jewish Republicans in the House of Representatives, enough to have a minion. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 2 years, almost every speaker at this event has stood up and said, we must get the hostages home. Well, last year I traveled to Israel. I met with the hostages' families. I traveled to the site of the Nova Music Festival where the horrific and horrendous massacre unfolded on October the 7th. I met with Prime Minister Netanyahu. I met with the Speaker of the Knesset, Amir Ohana, in my role as Chairman of the House Parliamentary Friendship Group. And I asked them, how can we help? And just a few short months later, we elected the most pro-Israel president that the world has ever known. So today I can finally say, thank you, President Trump, for bringing the hostages home. Since he was first elected in 2016, President Trump has never wavered in his support for Israel. He has remained committed to backing our most important ally in the Middle East time and time again. He has invested in diplomacy with key appointments as my good friend Mike Huckabee as the ambassador to Israel, and Steve Witkoff in the role of Middle East Special Advisor, Special Envoy. He outlined a groundbreaking 20-point plan for peace in Gaza, and then he went to work putting it all in place. The results, a ceasefire and a return of the hostages. So let me be clear. This deal was nothing short of historic, and I believe it's going to be a very important part of President Trump's legacy. But just because we've experienced historic success does not mean that we can let up. Our work must continue in the Middle East as well as here at home. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, and you're all aware, anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism are only growing among the left. They're continuing to support and exalt extremist candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen Cori Bush, who says she is running again for Congress. And we've seen Mondami, who is running for mayor of New York City. These types of individuals threaten to undermine support for the Jewish community. And ladies and gentlemen, sadly, we are seeing anti-Semitism within the fringes of our own party. Let's be very clear. Nazis are evil and anti-Semitism is repulsive. In our party, we don't give platforms to people who support Stalin or Hitler. We have spent the past 2 years cleaning up leadership on college campuses, deploying law enforcement officers to protect our students, and mourning the loss of innocent people to hate crimes. Yet some in the media and other prominent institutions, they give a microphone to anti-Semites. History teaches that we can never forget. The Holocaust happened. Slavery happened. October the 7th happened. We can never forget. Make no mistake, leaders must stand up and castigate and condemn hate, full stop. Make no mistake, we must fully combat anti-Semitism. Make no mistake, we should not give credence, credibility, or attention to hateful people. And ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, the Republican Party and the most pro-Israel president in the history of the United States will continue to fight anti-Semitism and protect the Jewish people and stand firmly and decisively with Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, may God bless you all, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you all very much. God bless.